So first of all, your flamethrower range. One popular mistake that people do is that they think that the entire size of the flame is actually effective. Now there's a difference between your maximum range and the effective part of it. About 70% of the size of the flame is what's actually effective. The other 30% you should probably treat it more like help. So if you attack your enemy, it will help them not be able to escape as easily. Just don't attack them as soon as they're in your range. They'll probably run away. That's not gonna be great. Unless all you need is just afterburn. In that case, use the whole thing. One other thing though, I would say it feels more or less that stock shotgun and the panic attack are the best within the flamethrower range, within its entirety. Of course they can shoot further, but that's when they're good. The reserve shooter, with it you will be forced to pick your fights. Only attack when you can, only one person at a time, because with a reserve shooter you can't attack like several people unless you want to use your flamethrower much, which is alright. That's why I love the reserve shooter. It forces you to play Pyro in a much more natural way for that class. I don't know why people say that Pyro is good at crowd control. You could light the entire enemy team on fire. You will probably kill none of them, or that wouldn't be really a sustainable strategy. It's, at least for my playstyle, 1v1s are the best, maybe 1v2 if you know you can control the situation well. So if you play with a reserve shooter enough, you will have to adapt and learn to pick your fights. Also the switch speed bonus, I did notice it. I don't know how, but it really felt different. So yeah, the reserve shooter is good for training, but the main thought is, whenever you see your enemy, don't attack. If you think you're gonna do 14 damage, one thing you're always doing, you're losing a bullet. That's not really good. You're also alerting them of your presence. Worst of all, you move your attention to that random target. There could be an attack from the side, you wouldn't notice it. So if you see someone too far, don't even try to attack. Try to avoid them. Wait for the opportune moment. Alright? For the panic attack, it's even more extreme, but at least you can combo that with your flamethrower. Also, I wanted to talk about how different shotguns have different influences on your gameplay. I decided to cut that out. Maybe I'll cover that in another video, I don't know. Number 3, the melee exist. This one is very small. I think I see way too many people use the power jack, even though it's not really the best melee for this class. But I would say the back scratcher and the extinguisher are really good. I feel like people overreact to the jungle inferno. Extinguisher is still amazing. Also, extinguisher pairs really nicely with the detonator. You attack your enemy with a flamethrower, use the detonator, which kind of is a more reliable flare gun. You could finish them with the extinguisher. The speed boost that you will get, you will be surprised how often you will need it. One mistake people make with the extinguisher, they try to attack the medic. The 7% speed difference, it does make the difference. The back scratcher gives you about 80 damage per hit. Usually there's no medic on your team, so just use these two. The power jack is a little bit overrated in my opinion. One thing I see people do a lot of is they learn a few specific skills, like doing shotgun combos or doing something with the air blast, and they forget how much different stuff you can do with Pyro. You can air blast the enemy up, that has certain uses. You can air blast them away and then run away. That doesn't mean you need to do it all the time, especially repeatedly. Don't be a dick. Red mist! But yeah, try to have unpredictable movement. I feel like at least I sometimes concentrate on the combat part too much. You can run back diagonally. You can also, if that's a soldier, you can just get very close to them and force self-damage. Now, you will probably both die, but at least that would be funny. One important thing about Air Blast, There's this moment when you're like on a tunnel and you see there's a soldier where you both understand what you want to do. They'll just avoid shooting the rocket unless they're stupid. One thing people forget about Air Blast is that how good it is as a surprise tool. If the enemy expects the Air Blast, they can prepare themselves very easily. Generally, the default settings aren't really good. It does apply to everything, and I think the controls also suffer from that. Using 1, 2 and 3 for your weapons, that's not really good. That could have worked on release, not now. I use a pretty unusual setup. I don't recommend it for everyone, but everyone would benefit from changing their configuration. You might have heard about muscle memory. One thing that people get wrong is that it's something in your muscle. No, it's in your brain, so you can adapt, you can relearn. My recommendation could be something like Shift for primary, Q for melee, mouse wheel or mouse 4, mouse 5 for the secondary. It might take some time, but that sometime is like 1 day, it's 2 days. In a week, you'll forget that there was some other setup and you wouldn't want to go back. 2 days. If you want to bind your mouse for slot 2, don't forget to use a few commands for that. If you do this through settings, there will be some bugs. Now that your number keys are free, you can use them for something else. I use them for NG building where 2, 3, 4 and 5. Dragon's Fury isn't a flamethrower. I know this one is obvious for most people, but yeah, you might attempt to hold mouse 1 while looking at the enemy, hoping for the timing. That's not how it works. Just pretend it's a shotgun. Also, it doesn't shoot a bullet. I know this is the fastest projectile in the entire game. It still is a projectile, so you need to kind of lead your shots. That's all I have for that. I don't use that weapon much. A universal advice for all gaming, I would say. What is rage learning? So there's this issue. Sometimes you will get angered while you play, and that's normal. Sometimes you get angry and you start playing more aggressively, you start attacking more, conserving your health less, and just be less rational. And it's not like it's super fun. You'll just rush right at your enemy, attack and die. The cycle will repeat. There's no fun in that, but you'll still continue doing it. And guess what? You might learn it. You might forget about all of the advices before. I would recommend just close the game, alright? You can open it right after. Just close it. You can open it the next moment. As soon as you close it, you wouldn't want to open it back. One thing, just leave that server. Just join another one, alright? That would save you a lot of anger, a lot of nerves. You will just experience less stress, and also you wouldn't learn weird behaviors that happen when you're angry. I think that's the best part. If you want to take anything out of this video, it should be this. If you're angry in the game, you hate it, just close it. I hope at least some of this advice was helpful for you. I've only played the game for 800 hours. Peace.